Alright, welcome everybody. My name is Markus Kurzmann. I have built a React web application as part of a project for Technical University Vienna, and this is why I first wanted to thank a few people, namely Andreas Rauber and Tomasz Miksa. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If not, I'm very sorry. They both have been supervising this project, so thanks very much for that. And then I also wanted to say thanks, or even sorry, to Bernard Gößwein. Hi, we have never met in person before, so in case you see this, I'm sorry, but I used you as a test candidate. This was actually a suggestion by Tomasz, because he said you would have quite some online accounts on GitHub and some papers, etc. So, well, I used your accounts for my implementation and development purposes, and so we are also going to see your name pop up multiple times in the upcoming minutes. Yeah, maybe we're going to meet in person soon, would be really nice. Let's dive right into it. So I built this web application. It's rather simple. It's actually a client and a server application, but what you're seeing here right now is the client, of course, and I called it the multi-repository. Reason being, this thing is connected to various external platforms, so to say. So those platforms are, for example, GitLab and GitHub, so these are code repositories, but there are of course also other repositories. Not all the repositories are about source code for software. And it also talks to the TIS platform. This is the platform of my university, the TU Wien. And as you can see here, I split it, I split those results into multiple columns. And some platforms even got split even further, so you can see the TIS people column here and the TIS project column here. So what this application does, it allows its user to, or its users to search for anything they want, basically. So you type into this input field some search term, and after a few milliseconds this client application is going to talk to my server application. And this server application again forwards the request to all the different APIs and tries to collect the individual results. Once this is done, all of them get sent back to the client. Actually, they get sent back individually, but don't care about that right now. So what we end up after all is various results of the various platforms being displayed in the individual columns, and that's only the first step of the whole search procedure. So that's rather boring. More interesting is the second step, in my opinion, because after this is done, we will have another request to the server, and we will try to find connections or relations between the individual search results. So this is more or less the main goal of this application. We tried to connect various external sources and their items together. So we have a custom database collection which contains multiple links, and those links always consist of exactly two nodes which represent different items of the different platforms you see here. And I mean, maybe I'm talking too much. Let's just try it out for now. I'm going to search for OpenEO. You see the search is being triggered immediately. The first step, searching the individual resources at the same time, and afterwards it's trying to link the individual results. So this, what you're seeing here right now, is something, this is how a result could look like. This is the final result of the whole search procedure after both search steps. So I mean, the following is probably not going to end up in the final production version of such an application, but I included it in this prototype right now, I'm talking about this label in the center of every card here. This is always showing step 1, step 2, or even step 1 plus 2. This simply means, okay, this item, this is a GitLab repository, it was found in the first step of the search. So just searching for OpenEO led to this item being included in our result list. This item, for example, on the other hand, was found in the second search step. So this means there is some link entry in our custom database which is saying, okay, we have some kind of item that we found in the first step of the search, and this was obviously connected to our project 01 item, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't see it here right now. So what the server actually does in this linking logic is it takes all the results from the first search step and it compares them to the link collection from our custom database, and if we have matches between them, we check, okay, obviously one of the nodes of a given link is one of the results we have here right now. The question is, do we also have the other node already available? If this is the case, then there's not much left to do actually. We would just need to somehow flag them or mark them so we finally know that they belong to each other, because of course in the end we have to represent it somehow visually in the user interface. But it of course could also be that the second node is missing, and in that case we automatically trigger another API call to the corresponding external platform to fetch this missing resource and to more or less fill up the holes and to finally end up with a complete search result, so to say. So what you're seeing here right now, this is a final search result. I already mentioned we wanted to somehow represent it in the user interface that certain items are being connected. So if you look at certain cards, you can see the tag or the label on the left hand side is showing the number of links that this item has. This item, for example, is having 3 links, and automatically when hovering this card you can see 3 other cards are also highlighted, and those are the 3 links we are talking about here right now. If you want to focus on what's connected, you can also just click on a given card, because this will automatically hide all the cards that we are currently not interested in. Yeah, we can of course also leave this view again, and you are going to end up on the main screen. Yeah, so we already talked about these 2 tags on the cards. What's with the last one on the right hand side? This is just a link to the original source. So in that case we would, if you click on it, you automatically come to, or you are automatically navigated to the TIS entry for our user Bernhard Gößwein. This of course also works for all the other platforms. So if you, for example, click on this GitHub user OpenEO, welcome to this OpenEO user, or it's actually an organization. Well, yes, I think that's about it. There's of course a lot of things that are still missing. I included a list of it. It's a starting point. I included it on my GitHub repository. I linked the GitHub repository in the video description, so you feel free to check it out. You can even clone the repository and run the whole application on your computer if you want to dive in a little further. Of course, everything I'm telling you right now corresponds to a certain Git commit, so in case I continue to work on this project, this YouTube video may be out of date. So if you look at this video be aware of that fact, and well, if it's outdated, check out the corresponding commit to see what's going on, or to understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, things that are still missing or buggy, a lot of things. For example, I did not add proper error handling right now. This is just a proof of concept. So, for example, if we search for a certain search term, so many S's, I think I have to add a DS on my voice afterwards. And one of the 8 API points, or at least one of them, crashes or returns an error code, this would lead to our client application getting stuck. So in that case, you would need to refresh it manually, and this is of course far from being optimal. This should not be that way in the final version. Also, I did not deal with pagination at all, so some of those platforms or some of the endpoints return way too many results for certain search terms, while other platforms just return a really small number of results. So this means, let's check this out. I'm searching for Bernhard is of course, I'm surprised that we found a Bernhard. I was actually trying to search for Bernhard, which is a rather common male name, and as you can see, we found over 250 projects on the TIS platform, which is way too many, especially for the current UI design, which is also not optimal, of course. While on the other hand, we only find 15 people on TIS. So, I mean, it's rather funny if you think about it. We are talking about the same platform here, just different kind of objects, and the endpoints seem to be configured entirely differently. And so these are way too many results, while these results, on the other hand, well, they are not complete. You cannot find our famous Bernhard Gößwein in there, so that could be a problem, of course. This is something we have to deal with in the future. I haven't thought too much about it until now, so yeah. But it's listed in the known bugs and improvements list on GitHub. Also, search flexibility. What I mean by that is some of the API endpoints expect really high precision regarding the search terms. So as soon as you have too much spaces in between words or something like that, certain results will just not be returned, while other API endpoints are really flexible and tolerant, and they find almost everything. So yeah. What else? Yeah, as already mentioned, did I already mention it? It's not possible to establish links between the items with the user interface right now, but this is of course a must-have in the final version. Right now, during the development phase, I simply created the links manually, directly in the database collection, but of course, in the end, this should be possible for end users directly via the user interface. Many more improvements in this list. For example, it would be nice to enforce one-to-one relations between certain items, for example, between persons. So let's search for Bernhard Gößwein again. Bernhard Gößwein has an entry on the TIS people side, but he also has a GitLab user and a GitHub user. So you could, for example, take this Bernhard Gößwein user and link it to his TIS user, which already happened, but you could also link it to Bernhard Rüger, and you could link it to Bernhard Hofko. So this doesn't make any sense, right? We're talking about people and users here, and most people only have one GitLab user and one GitHub user, max. Yeah, way more things. Just look at the list. I think I'm talking too much here. Also, one more thing. This is just for Bernhard Gössmann right now. If you search for my name, you will also find my GitHub user here. But the funny thing is, you will also find Bernhard Gössmann on GitLab. The reason for this is I mentioned, I said a few words on the GitLab user description, which also mentions my name. So please don't be surprised, Bernhard, if you type my name and then you find your own user. Also, sorry again, I faked and created that user for you, so that's actually not your user. I did not find any user from you, so I had to create a dummy user. I'm going to delete this again if you want to. Yeah. One more important thing. I did not include any transitive logic. So right now, the search procedure is doing the individual search in the first step, and then it takes all those results from the first step and analyzes the matching links in our database. But it will then not continue to do this in a recursive way. This could be interesting and this could be useful. So, but for now, this is not included. Yeah. I think for now that's enough. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the YouTube comment section or on GitHub, etc. Just contact me. If you have feature suggestions, improvements, just let me know. I would be very happy about it, and I hope this wasn't too boring. I tried my best, and thanks for your attention. Bye.